5 isekai manga with a female MC, let's go. Have you ever wanted to read Overlord but with a female main character instead? Well then Her Majesty's Swarm is the one for you. Our main character loves playing a real-time strategy game and loves playing as the evil-aligned faction Arachnia. When one day she mysteriously awakes as the queen of her faction in the video game, and her memories about the whole isekai situation are kind of foggy. And as the story progresses, her memories of her previous life slowly start to fade, and her new life as the queen of the Arachnia slowly starts to take over. In this new world, her mind is connected to all of her swarms, so their influences and their wants and desires slowly start to seep into her mind. So as the story progresses, she starts to more and more fit the role of their queen. And like I said, this is kind of similar to Overlord. Our main character loves playing this game. Her and her aligned faction get teleported to this new world. This new world is not the video game world. It's a completely different world. And at first she tries to not, kill too much, but eventually it gets to the point where if she deems you as an enemy, you're done. Like, she will take over cities, towns, countries. She will burn them all to the ground and kill anybody, any man, woman, child in there if she deems you as an enemy. Now, she also has a caring side. If she deems you as resourceful or as an ally, she will protect you. But my God, you do not want to be her enemy because they will show you no mercy. So if you want to read a really good story about an awesome spider queen commanding her own spider army, trying to take over this new world with lots of gore, good action scenes, and a good art style, this is definitely for you, so check out Her Majesty's Swarm. Now, if you wanted an isekai that mainly focuses on Yuri romance, then I'm in Love with the Villainess might be for you. Our main character gets isekai'd into her favorite game, Revolution. And in her isekai adventures, she is the main character, but instead of progressing how the story would go and romancing the male lead and doing all the other boring stuff, her favorite character is the villainess. Her favorite character is the main antagonist of the story, and that's who she loves, and that's who she's going to set her sights on. So the entire story is just her and this new world trying to romance the villainess of the story and all the comedic moments that happen with that. In this new world, magic is a thing, but it kind of takes a backseat to the actual story. They are in that kind of school setting the entire time, so if you're not a fan of that, I wouldn't recommend it, but it is a really nice comedy romance isekai manga. Sometimes it can take itself really seriously and get really deep with what it's trying to portray, but at other points it knows when to just have a good time and just be comedic and just be silly, so it's got a nice little blend between the two. And even though she did get isekai'd into her favorite video game, there's not too many aspects of this new world that would remind you that it is a video game world. So if you're wanting a nice Yuri romance, this is for you. If you were wanting more of an isekai adventure progressing through the world, you might want to stay clear of this one. I think it's pretty interesting. It's a nice little romance story, so make sure to check out I'm in Love with the Villainess. Now, usually for these lists, I try to give lesser known manga, but So I'm a Spider, So What is just so good that I have to include it. If you want a female lead, if you want a weak to strong manga, if you want to read a manga about an introverted, socially inept spider somehow bamboozling her way through this world, you're gonna want to read this. Our main character and her entire class gets isekai'd into this new world, and everybody gets isekai'd at different points and in different locations, so not everybody gets isekai'd into the king's chamber where they bamboozle them to go take on the demon lord. None of that bullshit. Everybody gets isekai'd in different situations, and unfortunately our main character gets isekai'd as a spider and almost dies right off the bat, and pretty much every single day from then. But our little socially inept, introverted spider somehow manages to fight every single day of her life and become one of the most feared creatures in this entire planet. But it's not an instant overnight thing. There is a lot of struggling and just a lot of pure determination and willpower just to survive. So if you want to read a manga with great action scenes, great world building, a weak to strong female main character, and lots of comedic scenes, So What I'm a Spider is definitely something you have to read. There is a reason it's so popular, and that's just because it's so good. Now, if you're like me and you like really dark isekais, and I don't mean like edgy dark, I mean like real world dark, the Onee-sama and the Giant is something you have to be reading. Our main character gets killed by committing murder-suicide after being betrayed by someone that she thought she could trust, and ends up in this new world and opts to not take a special ability for various reasons, and ends up finding this giant who was also betrayed by her family, and these two end up becoming sisters and have this incredible bond together, and end up traveling the world trying to find their families and the people that had wronged them in the past, so that way they can get their revenge/closure and put that point of their life behind them. But this world is so fascinating because it's not your usual happy-go-lucky isekai world. In this new world, they absolutely hate heroes/reincarnated people/isekai people. They are not their biggest fan. They see it as the gods betraying them, because why would the gods give these powers to people not even from this world, while people from this world actually suffer? And as they say in the manga, the age of the heroes, the age of the reincarnated has long gone. This new world already has ways to deal with these heroes. They already know how to stop all of these cheat-like abilities that they get. And for a lot of heroes, they end up kidnapping, torturing, killing, and murdering and selling off body parts. Like, they are not the hero's biggest fans. If they can get their hands on a reincarnator, they're gonna put them through some of the worst torture that your mind could ever imagine and then start selling off parts of that person. So the world building in this manga is really, really well done, and I find it so fascinating, and it can get so dark at some points. And I also love the relationship between Hanako and Alice. Both having been betrayed in their past and coming together and having this sister-like bond makes for some really good scenes. So if you're a huge fan of isekais and you like when they get dark and gritty, this might be something you want to read. It's honestly been one of my favorite isekais that I've been reading as of late, and with each new chapter that does release, I just can't wait to get into reading it. So make sure to check out the Onee-sama and the Giant. The One Within the Villainess has to be one of the best isekais that I've read for a very, very long time. And I don't just mean isekai with a female main character, I mean like isekai in general. It's not too often that I read an isekai that's not just plagued with isekai tropes. This manga really doesn't have any. The story is so well told and so well thought out. All the characters are fleshed out and actually behave like real people, and there's a reason behind everything that happens. Like in a lot of other isekais, the main character always runs into those stereotypical assholes or bad guys that are really only bad for the sake of being bad. But in this story, there's no dumb tropes like that. There's a reason behind everything that happens, and it's a very well written reason. It's not just because the story needs it to happen. But the story all revolves around our main character, Emi, who gets isekai'd into this new world that is based off one of her favorite video games. And in this new world, she gets isekai'd as one of her favorite characters, Ramelia, who just happens to be the villain. Now, she's not completely isekai'd as this person. They kind of share the same body, with Emi taking the controls while Ramelia is kind of stuck in the subconscious and really can do nothing but watch. Since Ramelia was Emi's favorite character, she tries her best to make sure that the path she was going to go down in the video game doesn't actually happen. She wants Ramelia to have the happiest and best life that she can possibly have, so that's what she sets out to do. And things are going great until she runs into another reincarnator who happens to be the main heroine and literally ruins all of the hard work that Emi had built up in like a matter of days. And once that happens, Emi kind of shuts herself off and decides to take the back seat while Ramelia is now in control. And the rest of the story is Ramelia trying to accomplish Emi's dream, and instead of doing it the exact way that Emi was doing it, she kind of takes her own spin on it and ends up trying to develop her own kingdom to basically outshine everybody else and to rub it in everyone's faces who had betrayed her. This story has a really good plot, it has really good characters, it has good fight scenes, the main character is really relatable and really likable. There is no annoying isekai tropes. The only complaint that I have with it is there's only 10 chapters, but each chapter is incredibly long. So if you want to read an isekai with a female main character, this is definitely the one I would recommend. I was very surprised with how good it actually was when I started reading it, and I could talk about this thing for days because I literally just sat here for the past couple hours and binged read the whole thing. That's how good it was. So again, check out The Ones Within the Villainess. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. So that's going to be the video. Let me know what you guys think. Which one was your guys' favorite? Let me know down there below in the comments. And if you guys have any other manga you want me to check out, let me know. That's going to be it. Like, subscribe, bell notification. Peace.